Morning everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and this is our daily Hindu editorial analysis. Am I clearly visible and audible? Can you hear and see me clearly, everyone? Good morning everyone. In the app, on our YouTube platform as well. Yeah, okay. Clearly visible and audible as well. So today is 3rd of December. I could not take a class yesterday, which I'm apologetic about. I was stuck somewhere. But nonetheless, today is 3rd of December and we're going to take two articles, one from the Hindu and the other from the Indian Express. And we'll try to learn from these two articles a lot of things. But before we start doing that, you need to know that we have a mega workshop for MHCT that's going to happen on 5th of December, 8 p.m. Pranav sir is going to be taking this workshop. So if you want to know about the MHCT 5-year law program, in fact, anything that you want to know about this 5-year law program, this is the workshop for you. We make sure you set up your reminder for this session. Don't miss out on this. Apart from that, if you're targeting CLAT 2023, we have a new batch 6 that we've recently launched. I'll be also teaching in the batch. The classes have already begun. So you don't have a lot of time. Approximately a year left now. Rush up, enroll yourself at the earliest. If you are targeting MHCT, SLAT, BLAT, Jamia, a new batch is about to start. I will also be teaching in this batch. The classes I can start next week in my subject. Rush up, enroll at the earliest. If you are targeting CLAT 22, we have two batches for you. One is in English and one is a bilingual. This is a bilingual batch and the other batch is in English. So you could choose whatever mode of communication you're the most comfortable with, and accordingly you can enroll yourself for the 22 target year people, because 22 के लिए तो सबसे कम time बचा है हमारे पास अब. And that is about it. Good morning everyone who's joined me just now. Yes. Okay. So what are we going to do in the class? We'll take a quote of the day, which you're going to give me. Then we will, we were supposed to revise 3 questions from yesterday's class, but since yesterday's class did not happen, we're not going to do the revision today. We'll do the revision tomorrow. We'll take up 2 articles, do a detailed discussion on them. And it's a gift that I've bought for a lot of people requesting me a lot of things. I'll tell you what the gift is that I bought today. We'll take out the vocabulary, phrasal verbs, idioms from today's articles and try to memorize them. In the end, you're going to tell me the tone of the author, plus you have to write down the summary of each article in not more than 1 line under my video in the comment section. I'll be checking each of the summary during the rest of the day. And if there are changes that you need to do, I'll ask you to do that as well. And in the end, we are going to be looking at today's newspaper, Hindu and Indian Express, and I'll tell you what are the important articles that you should be studying and what are the articles that you can give a miss to. This is our agenda of the day. Now, who has bought the quote of the day? So, in the race of life, everyone is a runner, but the child is a winner because he goes forever. Be a child. Yes, be a child in your heart. And a child's most beautiful quality is being a learner. A child is always a learner. When people grow up, they stop learning. So, always be a child, always be a learner in your heart. Even before, even after you have a good job, if you have a settled house, you need to be a learner all the time. Yes. And weary lawyers come to court with their endless tongues. Oh, not a very happy thing to say. Weber, I'm not going to take this. The way I see it, thank you, Weber, for retracting it. The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. Absolutely. And the rain is going to be difficult. It's going to be exhausting, incessant maybe at times. But after that, you're going to see the rainbow. The beauty is going to come out. So just keep putting in your effort. Yes. No, it's not lagging. It's completely fine. The internet is absolutely fine. Good morning, everyone who's joining me now. So the quote of the day is done. And we're not going to revise it because yesterday a class on the newspaper analysis did not happen. So let's start off with the vocabulary from today's articles. Okay, just a second, give me a second. Now before I start discussing the article, I have to tell you this, the gift that I bought for all of you. Some people kept messaging me, ma'am, we have a lot of difficulty in understanding the articles based on economy. So I have bought an article in economy. Something of that sort might not exactly be asked as a passage in the examination, but this article will help you understand how an economy functions. So my aim discussing this article would be to make you comfortable with the economic terms and understand how are things interconnected in an economy. That is what we're going to do with the first article, and the second article has my and Shasik's heart. I don't know about rest of you, but at least I'm sure of my intrasik's heart. So second article has our heart here. So let's look at the first article that we're going to discuss. No, there was no class that happened yesterday, Pratik. I was busy with something. I'm going to obviously repay for it today. Okay, so here we go. The first word is mystifying. Mystifying is anything that is shocking or confusing, that has no clarity. When there's a lot of mist, can you see through? You can't see through. So when you're driving in mist, you actually do not know where to go, what's coming ahead. It's mystifying. It's chaotic and it's confusing. So a mystifying phenomena, a phenomena that confused people, that shocked people. That's mystifying. Okay, let's go to the next word. Outcry. Usually, when people are disapproving of a decision by the government or by the authority, they show anger and disapproval on a decision, on an issue. It's an outcry. So we can say the public outcry on the farm laws, the public outcry over the bombing. They are unhappy and disapproving of what has happened is an outcry. The third word, marginal, not very important, only little. So marginal increment, really, really less, not very important at all. The new scheme is likely to make only a marginal difference, not a big one, but a very slight one. So spike would be the opposite of marginal. Yes. Staggering, yes, Priya, you can say that. Implicit तो नहीं बोलेंगे हेमेंद्र, जिसमें मिस्ट्री है वो मिस्टिफाइंग बोल सकते हो ट्रासिक आप. Shudder or shudder, is it not shudder? Okay, in the app, yes. So strident, what word are you thinking it of as a synonym? Next word is bulwark. We've done this word in the past. So anything that protects you from dangerous impact or unpleasant situation, that protection is your bulwark. My savings were to be a bulwark against unemployment. So if I were unemployed sometime, I had savings to protect me, to support me. That protection from dangerous circumstances is bulwark. We've done a lot of synonyms to bulwark. Any synonyms that you can offer me? Marginal is meager, yes. Any synonyms to bulwark? Anyone? Fortification, for sure. Yes, Pratik, they are. Shield, yes, correct. Do you have your English paper today? Do you have your English boards today? All the people who are in 12th? Everyone, do you have your English paper today? Underpin, yes, correct. Stonewall is also a synonym. That's right. Fortification as well. Let's move to the next one. I hope you've taken a screenshot of this slide. Let's look at the next slide. Outcry, outrage, absolutely, Sheffy. Yes, you can say that. Okay. Traction. Traction is pulling. Okay. The root word is T-R-A-C-T, tract, which means to pull. So attraction, detraction, tractor, contract, all of these have the same root word tract, which means to pull. So rubber tires get good traction on wet roads. They can pull well on the wet roads. Okay. Next one is hazy, not clear. Can I say hazy is a synonym to mystifying or outcry? Nisha, outcry is when you are expressing your anger over any unpleasant situation is outcry. Okay. Distraction, yoga. Yes. Attract, pull towards itself. Yes. Attract. Same root word, Chasik. Yes. Extract, to pull out. Distract, to pull away. All of these have the root word tract. Okay. All right. Let's move to the next one. Here. Disaggregate, aggregate, collect. Disaggregate, separate. This is the negative prefix, right? So aggregate is a collection. Disaggregate is separation in different components that it has. The molecules of a gel disaggregate to form a solution. They separate. Separation into individual components is disaggregation, opposite of aggregation. Undermine. Undermine, the opposite of undermine is underpin. Okay? Underpin is to support. Undermine is to show something very less effective. Something show something as less powerful is undermining. The scandal threatened to undermine the institution of the presidency. So this scandal, its motive was to make the institution of presidency less effective, less powerful, to show the institution of presidency that way. That is undermining. Making something less effective and less powerful is undermining. Underpin is to support. Bulwark is underpin. So you get a lot of critical reasoning questions. Which of the following can underpin the argument? Which of the following can support the argument? Dismantling. Yes, Krantika, you can say that for disaggregate. Shoal, it means away. Ab means away. So absconding, running away. Abduct, to carry someone away. Abstain, to stay away. Ab means away. Okay. Yes, to weaken something is undermine. To support something is underpin. Sabotage, diminish, subvert. Yes, they all are synonyms to undermine. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Okay, so a gamut is a complete collection, a range of something. She experienced a full gamut of human emotions. She could experience almost every human emotion that existed in the world, a whole collection, array of emotions. So, gamut is a whole grouping, collection, range is gamut. Then we have kajal. Kajal is usually it's like a weapon. It's a stick, like weapon that you can use to hit somebody. It's a cudgel. They would lie in wait and cudgel her to death. So it's a weapon that is used for her death. Fulminate is to strongly protest against something. You guys now know what article I'm going to take. He fulminated against the evils of his time. He was disapproving and protesting against the evils of his time. Incontrovertible. इनकॉन्ट्रोवर्टिबल ब्रेक करके देखते हैं. आप जिस चीज को मना नहीं कर सकते हो, जिस पे क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकते हो, जिसको आपको होल हार्टली एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा, इज इनकॉन्ट्रोवर्टिबल. कंट्रोवर्सी बट ऑपोजिट इनकॉन्ट्रोवर्टिबल. जिस चीज पे कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं हो सकती इज इनकॉन्ट्रोवर्टिबल. Both the sound and the sense of that sentence were to be incontrovertible. I could not deny that. I could not oppose it is incontrovertible. Yes? Arsenal, नहीं, trust नहीं, arsenal नहीं होगा. Arsenal is a related word. It will not be a synonym. Gamut is a collection. मुस्कान, collection. So a gamut of emotions मतलब बहुत सारे emotions एक साथ. Okay? In which we use daily basic conversation. No, Ria, that's not the point, bache. Heavy words are important to make an article interesting. And the examiner will check you only on these heavy words. You need to understand that and you need to memorize these words. Okay? Palmini just to protest, yes. Yes, that's the whole point. When you become a lawyer and you express your arguments in the court, you need to have good vocabulary as well. You know, all the judges and their landmark judgments have excellent vocabulary. Why? You need to be one of them, right? Hi, Prerna. Okay, so in the app, any question? First slide. Could you please take a screenshot after the class ends? Okay, Shafi? All right. Now let's move to the article. The vocabulary is done. I hope you've taken a screenshot, everyone. Now, I'll repeat. This article is an article on how our economy functions, and there's a prediction that has happened with comparison to our pre and post pandemic economy. I'll be explaining a few words in this article to you, and my aim would be to make you comfortable with any kind of reading comprehension that might come on economy or economics. So, make sure you understand it and see how these words are used to explain an article on economy. Plus, you have to do a little bit of homework as well here. और इसीलिए करना है बिकॉज कुछ चीजें हैं जो बहुत कॉमनली यूज्ड है और आपको उनसे कंफर्टेबल होना जरूरी है. इकोनॉमी में बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स आ चुके हैं क्लैट की हिस्ट्री में. तो आपकी उस टॉपिक से कंफर्टेबिलिटी इट बिकम्स रियली रियली इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, दिस आर्टिकल इज फ्रॉम द हिंदू. Okay, it's not from the Indian Express. All right, here we go. Garima, you need to have some patience, bache. Let me teach. I'll help you by the end of the class how you're supposed to get into the Telegram groups, okay? All right. Spectrum, बिल्कुल शैफी बिल्कुल बोल सकते हैं. क्या मैं कब spectrum बिल्कुल बोल सकते हैं, okay? All right, here we go. Road to recovery. So, एक simple line में, you know, एक country की economy purchasing और buying बेसिक इन दोनों टर्म्स पे डिपेंडेंट होती है. बट ये परचेसिंग और बाइंग इतने सिंपल टर्म्स नहीं है जितना सिंपल मैंने साउंड किया है इसको. देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ एस्पेक्ट्स दैट आर रिलेटेड टू इट and how beautifully a country's economy functions also is dependent on thousands and thousands of factors, one of it being a pandemic, because the pandemic was followed by a lockdown, in fact, multiple ones, and our economy was badly hit because the markets were closed, people lost their jobs, their purchasing power fell, and the economy was completely ruined for some time. But it looks right now, if you look at the current economic status, it looks like we are on a road to recovery after the pandemic. But remember, Omicron. So, on sustaining growth. What is sustaining? Sustaining is a growth that can be elongated for a longer period of time. A growth that continues, does not exhaust. That is sustainable growth. So when we say sustainable resources, those resources that don't get exhausted in the near future, that continue. So here, growth that continues is a sustaining growth. Let's understand this. Now, who is going to tell me the full forms of these two words? GDP is a common word. Who's going to tell me the full form of GVA? I'm going to move slow with this article so that you're comfortable with the economic terms as well. Okay? Shoal, of course you can. Yes. Okay, now here, full forms of these words. Full forms. Gross domestic product. And what is GVA? Gross value added. Yes, absolutely correct. So, how our country's economy functions, these two are easy contributors to assess that the gross domestic product and the gross value added. These are estimates and these are calculations that are based on the existing functioning of the economy. These estimates from the National Statistical Office have affirmed that the economy is now on the path to recovery. Recovery from the pandemic and recovery from the effects that pandemic had on our economy. After the last fiscal year is financial year, एक साल का जो finances होता है. So last fiscal year's record contraction. So जो contraction economy हुआ था, अब वो expand हो रहा है and we are on the verge of recovering. Second quarter gross domestic product. Quarters we always calculate and assess things एक फाइनेंशियल ईयर में क्वार्टरली हम देखते हैं और ये हर जगह होता है. आप जब क्वार्टरली इवैल्यूएशन करते हो एक साल में ब्रेक कर करके कि कैसे चीजें फंक्शन कर रही है, नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर का क्या क्या आपका अजम्पशन है एंड हाउ व्हाट इज योर प्लानिंग अबाउट द नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर. इट हैपेंस इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इट हैपेंस इन द इकोनॉमी एज वेल. ओके, जिसको हम यूजुअली Q1, Q2, Q1, Q2 ऐसे रेफर करते हैं. आपको ये Q1, Q2 भी बहुत दिखेगा. So the second quarter, the Q2 gross domestic product expanded. So जब मेरा GDP expand होता है, it's always better for the economy. Rebounding from the earlier 7.4 contraction. So we are on a better track. While the statistical advantage from the base effect surely aided the expansion, the economy appears to have gathered just enough momentum for GDP to post a marginal 0.3, marginal बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं, बहुत ही कम 0.3% growth, even when compared with the second quarter of the pre-pandemic 2019-20 fiscal year. तो pre-pandemic year का Q2 से अगर आप compare करोगे तो बहुत huge नहीं है, it's marginal but yet it's good. The gross value added figures वो GDP का data था or gross value added figures which capture the extent of activity across 8 major formal sectors of our economy. The GVA is calculated out of the 8 major formal sectors of our economy. What are these 8 major formal sectors which contribute to our GVA? Who is going to tell me that? Yes. Who's going to tell me that? The 8 major sectors. Anyone? What are the 8 major sectors? Coal, okay. Yes. Coal, others? I'm going to explain that, Chasik. Agriculture, okay. Do you think agriculture is a part of GVA? Defense, manufacturing, service, okay. Tourism, okay. Random guesses हैं ये सारे random guesses हैं. Export, सब random है. लिख लो. Okay, let me write this down for you. The 8 major sectors. Let me write this down for you. लिख लो सब लोग. 4, okay. 5, I don't know where to write the next one. 6, natural gas, fertilizer, and cement. Here we go. Okay? Got this? Okay? All right. So these are the 8 major formal sectors of our economy that contribute to the GVA of our country. Okay, these two underscore the improvement with July, September 2021 GVA figures, and this is the figure. We can skip the figure. Now, 5 of the 8 sectors out of the ones I've written, 5 of the 8 sectors posted growth, not just from year earlier quarter, but also surpassed the pre-COVID-19 परफॉर्मेंस. अब देखो कोविड में चीजें सफर हो रही थी, ठीक है, तो हमने उनको बेटर हुआ, हमारा जीवीए बेटर हुआ. बट अगर आप उसको प्री कोविड एरा से कंपेयर करो जब इकोनॉमी बेटर थी, ये और भी अच्छा है क्योंकि उसने प्री कोविड एरा को भी सरपास कर दिया. Manufacturing, which has the second largest share of GVA. Yes, of course. Correct. Non-sustainable. Okay, yes. So manufacturing, which has the second largest share of GVA, appears to have regained traction and was the bulwark of GVA. It saved our GVA, logging a 3.9% expansion from the pre-pandemic second quarter of fiscal year 2020. So हमको बचाने वाला मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ही था. The key employment providing services categories. अब देखो की एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विसेज अलग हैं. अगर आप सेक्टर देखोगे इज एग्रीकल्चर, बट सर्विसेज अलग चीजें हो जाती है बिकॉज एग्रीकल्चर हम सर्विस सेक्टर में नहीं काउंट करते हैं. सो सर्विसेज हैं जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रोवाइड करती है हमारी कंट्री में. हाउएवर ये सर्विस सेक्टर इज येट टू फुल्ली रिकवर फ्रॉम द पैंडेमिक्स डेवास्टेटिंग इम्पैक्ट एंड अलोंग विद कंस्ट्रक्शन another major provider of jobs lagged pre-pandemic levels by a cumulative 77,000 crore. तो इसमें इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं आया, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में इंप्रूवमेंट आ गया. With the potential impact of the Omicron variant a big unknown, the outlook may stay hazy for now. तो अभी भी इंप्रूवमेंट के चांसेस in the sector of service and jobs provided by service sector is hazy for now. The disaggregated view of the GDP data. That is, if you break it down, overall GDP को देखोगे, it might look better for us, but manufacturing of sanitizer, yes, you can say that. Okay. Yes. Not 1 second. The disaggregated view of the GDP data also reveals areas of concern that would undermine the recovery. So, अगर आप GDP को break करके देखोगे, you will see what are the areas which will slow down our recovery for now. Private final consumption expenditure that measures spending on everything. So, finally, you as a consumer are expending on goods and services. Your final expenditure, it ranges from buying luxury goods to the basic commodities as well, essentials as well. So your spending capability and the entire gamut of services by all consumers has the largest share of GDP at 55%. It would range from luxury to essentials. And it is still in a bad state. The uncertainty induced by the pandemic coupled with the reduced or lost incomes. People lost jobs during the pandemic, their incomes were reduced, and it continues to depress demand. Demand, because if people do not have money, there would be not a demand in the market for goods and services. If I have no money, how will I buy things? So the demand is still suppressed and is mirrored in consumer spending, still remaining 3.5% shy of the pre-COVID level. Consumer की spending, consumer purchase करता है products, goods, services, उसकी जो spending है वो अभी भी pre-pandemic level से 3.5% कम पे है. वो spend नहीं कर रहा, maybe because of the uncertain future. Omicron is here. The government consumption spending, अब government की, अभी तक हम प्राइवेट कंजम्पशन एक्सपेंडिचर की बात कर रहे थे, गवर्नमेंट के एक्सपेंडिचर की बात करते हैं. गवर्नमेंट जब कंज्यूम करते हैं गुड्स एंड प्रोडक्ट्स, द गवर्नमेंट कंजम्पशन स्पेंडिंग व्हिच हैज ऑफन बीन अ रिलायबल अल्टरनेटिव सोर्स ऑफ डिमांड, क्योंकि जब अगर प्राइवेट की नहीं होती है तो गवर्नमेंट की रिलायबल आप डिमांड पे रिलाई कर सकते हो. So which was a reliable alternative source of demand with the capacity to serve as a multiplier is also well below the fiscal second quarter. तो गवर्नमेंट की डिमांड्स भी फॉल कर रही हैं, प्राइवेट की भी फॉल कर रही हैं, possibly by design as the center seeks to consolidate its financial position. So गवर्नमेंट की डिमांड्स क्यों कम है? बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट अभी भी एसरटेन कर रही है गवर्नमेंट की फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन कैसी है। फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन एसरटेन करके तो स्पेंडिंग करेंगे कि क्या उनके पास कुछ सेविंग्स है, क्या वो स्पेंड कर सकते हैं। इट्स completely dependent on that, and thus the demand is low unless aggregate demand strengthens overall demand, government private aggregate demand strengthens the heartening uptick in business investment, लोगों का business में invest करना और उसका uptick as reflected in the 11% year-on-year jump in gross fixed income formation could come to not would come to nothing with capacity additions remaining underutilized and corporate captains yet again tightening their purse strings. तो जब तक ये aggregate demand गवर्नमेंट और प्राइवेट की better nahi hoti hai, things will not get better in the country. Manufacturing PMI data by IHS Market has another salutary warning. So basically there are organizations जो data देते हैं, analysis देते हैं. एक दूसरी warning है rising input cost. What are input costs? Could force manufacturers to raise prices, adding to the general inflationary pressure in the economy and undermine the recovery. What are input costs? Who's going to tell me what are input costs? What are input costs? Anyone? Anyone? It's a Sonal, it's a visible one. It can clearly be seen. Okay? Input costs, anyone? Okay. Yes, exactly, Karthik. Yes. Yes, you're right. Yes, Vaibhav. Yes, Komal. Correct. Yes, Sinduja. Correct. If I am a manufacturer and if my input costs are high, my final products cost will also be high. I will not pay it from my own pocket. I have to earn it from the market. And if the final products cost is high, it will lead to the inflation of our country. Anyway, we are handling a lot of inflation in terms of petrol and diesel prices, which is luckily reduced a little, but eventually complete economy में inflation दिखेगा आपको because of the high input costs. Policy makers need to ramp up demand supportive measures. पॉलिसी जो कंट्री में बनती है इकोनॉमी को सपोर्ट करने के लिए ऑथर इज सेइंग कि वो पॉलिसीज डिमांड सपोर्टिव मेजर्स को लेके आनी चाहिए. डिमांड सपोर्टिव मेजर ऐसी पॉलिसी जो मार्केट में डिमांड को बढ़ाएगी, इंक्लूडिंग इंक्रीजिंग गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग to ensure that the recovery sustains and gains traction. So डिमांड को बढ़ाने वाली पॉलिसीज होनी चाहिए और गवर्नमेंट की स्पेंडिंग और हाई होनी चाहिए so that our economy is able to sustain this growth in long term. What is the tone of the author? Yes, Gargi, absolutely correct. All of these are input costs. Yes. Tone of the author. Capital is an example. Capital is not your input cost. Guys, okay, there is one last reminder that I'm going to give you. If you keep continuing talking amongst yourself like this, I'm going to do something. I will randomly be just explaining the article and not look into your chats because it's so difficult to identify important messages sent to me and the chats that you've been doing amongst yourselves. Please find another platform to do that, not here. It's first and the last time I'm reminding you of this fact. It is mostly informative. Mostly informative. Some analysis is done, but the agenda is mostly to tell you what is happening and how is it happening. Okay, so it's mostly informative, some parts analytical. I hope you get this, everyone. Okay. All right, let's move to the next article. Here we go. He for males, she for females. What pronoun for those people who do not identify themselves as either of the gender? There's a whole idea of bringing in a third pronoun, a non-binary pronoun. Non-binary, male or female, नहीं, दोनों नहीं है. Non-binary pronoun. Please write the chats sensibly. Do not write anything that is insensible or rude or hurtful to anybody. While I explain this article to you, it can easily be asked as a reading comprehension in the examination. Let's look at it from the perspective of a reading comprehension. So France has a debate going on. Should they be using a non-binary pronoun or not? But language is a living thing prone to change. Like everything is not permanent, even language is not permanent. Changes are going to happen. France may not be ready to accept the change, but things are going to change. Nearly 200 years ago, the French writer wrote, I'm not going to read this, he wrote this, but इसका translation क्या था? इसका translation था, the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's what he wrote. No matter what time and tide bring, defenders of tradition and purity will always stand in its path. कोई भी change लेके आओ, tradition के defenders बोलेंगे नहीं, हमारा tradition अच्छा, हम change नहीं करेंगे. हमारा tradition pure है, इसको dirty मत करो. Everything that changes, people who defend tradition will stand in its path. They will be armed with all the cudgels. They will be ready to fight with cudgels in their hands at their disposal to beat it back. They would want to send the change back into the time. Yes? Okay. So, yes. A recent example is the storm of protests that erupted over the recognition of a non-binary pronoun by a dictionary. So people wanted to use a non-binary pronoun. Why necessarily he and she? We could use a non-binary pronoun, but there was a lot of protest for it. Le Petit Robert, one of the leading French dictionaries, has added the word IEL. Now, how is this word framed? It's a combination of the masculine ill and the feminine LA. Okay, so they have connoted this word out of a combination of these two in its online list of words in an effort to be more inclusive of those people who don't identify themselves as either of the binary male and female genders. So there was a word. We use they. Yes, we can say that. But how do they call themselves? Okay, for that, this new word has been added. The people of France are understandably fiercely protective of their language. All of us, I've discussed this multiple times in the past and my experience also of visiting France, that people of the French are absolutely protective about their language, about their culture, about their heritage. So, this thing may not be very acceptable in a French society. But the outcry by some over the dictionary's move is mystifying. I've explained what the word mystifying is. It's actually a shock. It's actually confusing. Taken for instance, what France's First Lady Brigitte Macron said, there are two pronouns. She clearly said, दो pronouns होते हैं, he and she. That's all. And our language is beautiful. And two pronouns are appropriate. We don't need a third pronoun. She clearly said that. But when we say but, there's a contradiction. In what way is the beauty of language diminished if it opens up to accommodate those who may have felt excluded before? So the author is asking a question. कह रहा है कि if you include another pronoun, if you change something in language, how is your culture being diminished? Your culture is still intact. I don't understand using the third gender here, or not third, maybe a neutral gender here is going to diminish your culture. And who decides how many pronouns are appropriate? Author is very rude here, very angry. He says, are you going to decide what pronoun is appropriate? Who are we to decide what pronoun is appropriate? Surely that comes down to those who speak the language. Yes. So people who speak will decide what is appropriate. And in the case of French, many gender non-binary people are already using the pronoun to identify themselves as not belonging to the binary gender. They are happy to use it. So if they are happy to use it, everyone else should also be happy to use it. Yes. And that is precisely why Lee Petit Robert decided to include the new pronoun, because people are already using it to reflect the reality that a language, much like those who use it, is a living thing that grows and changes over time. Like people grow and change, even a language grows and changes. To those who fulminate against this incontrovertible fact, एक ऐसा fact जो controversial होना ही नहीं चाहिए, उस पे भी if you're getting angry, like Education Minister Michael Blanquer, who reportedly said that inclusive writing is not the future of French language. So he says people were getting angry on this non-controversial thing, like this education minister. And what did this minister say? He said inclusive writing is not the future of French language. It should not be inclusive. You can only reply to him by saying, c'est la vie. What does this phrase, anyone, what does this phrase mean? This is from yesterday's Indian Express. Yes. No, it cannot be transitive because gender pronouns are needed if you talk in terms of language and grammar. So genderless nouns can be there, like chair, man hota tha word, but now it's chairperson. There can be genderless nouns, but pronouns are needed sometimes. Yes. This, yes, Oshin, this is life. It needs to change. Yes, exactly. The meaning of the phrase is this is life. Okay? Tone of the author, everyone. Tone of the author, who's going to tell me? Tone of the author, critical, okay? This is life, yes. Critical, okay? Any other tone? Yes, it's a very interesting topic. Or koi? Any other tone? France, Miss Tripathi? Yes, it's mostly critical, okay? Yes. All right. So let's come to today's Hindu and Indian Express and let's see what are the important articles. No, it does not mean goodbye. Ria, it means this is life. Okay. Let's come to the articles from today's newspapers and let's see what are the important things that we should be studying. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to share it in my background. Please stick with me. All right. So let me open the Indian Express as well. First article from the Hindu. First one, limited gains scheme. You know everything about Omicron, you know everything about the vaccination status of our country. You can only skim through this article, but don't leave this. Anything on COVID is important. Second, very, very important. Please do not leave this. पढ़ लेना इसको डिटेल में. Okay? In detail. Green revolution and white revolution. Oh yes. Please read this. Why does this come into the news? It's because of the 100th birth anniversary of Verghese Kurien. बिल्कुल पढ़ना आपको, ये बहुत important है. Skim. Okay? Only skim. Here we go. Only skim. Okay? Leave this. Let's come to the Indian Express. Scornful is full of hatred, Akriti. Okay? Of course you can, Palak. Of course you can. In fact, you should. Let's look at the Indian Express. शेफी मैं बिल्कुल आपके सारे मैसेजेस देखती हूँ और सबके रिप्लाई करती हूँ आपके इनफैक्ट आपके तो मैं सारे मैसेजेस का रिप्लाई करती हूँ but you need to understand I'm handling almost 100 people together sometimes they may go unanswered I hope you understand okay word to the wise very important please and share it with everyone who does a lot of WhatsApp forwards as well word to the wise bad education छोड़ सकते हो fertile ground yes पढ़ना है इसको why the suspended MPs will not apologize skip there's a clear-eyed vision behind China's maritime build-up only skip the political policy disconnect in India skip remember how the constitution was brought into being yes read new NFHS data yes read that is all from the Indian Express yes got this everyone any doubts no Palak if you like reading them keep doing that okay now guys everyone I hope I make sense I am going to come live at 12:30 with my second session on assumptions and conclusions if you haven't seen my first session make sure you watch the whole video because today is going to be a continuation where am I going to come live I'm going to come live on our BBA YouTube platform find it out subscribe yourself catch me live at 12:30 p.m. today and understand the concepts of assumptions and conclusions and how to solve it with me. Okay. Tomorrow I'll be coming live with Urjasvi Goswami, who is uh, somebody I taught 10 years back, who landed up into ILS, is a graduate from ILS, and now a Supreme Court lawyer. Listen to her journey, her struggles, her failures, her achievements with me tomorrow. I'll also be taking an Ask Me Anything session tomorrow because tomorrow is Saturday and Saturdays are Ask Me Anything sessions. So if you have doubts about preparation, strategy, anything else, newspapers, English, critical reasoning, I'll be coming live tomorrow on our YouTube platform. Make sure to catch me live and we are going to try to solve all your queries. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a very good day. God bless you.